Hello, lovely people. Today I am not playing on any particular console because we are here yet again to read through the blog. Here we go. This one is Rise and Fall. Sector 0, Planet Oa, Green Lantern Corps Headquarters. That bad, huh? Said John Stewart as two of his fellow Green Lanterns approached. Usually only see that look on Hal's face when the situation went sideways. Sideways would be preferable, John. Sideways we can manage, Hal Jordan replied. This situation is. What did you call it again, Kyle? Non Euclidean. Dean? Non Euclidean, I'm going to go with. Non Euclidean, Kyle Rayner said, as he used his power ring to create a holographic example of that type of geometry. Translation: fouled up beyond all recognition. Got it? Stewart said. So what are we going to do about it? We are going to do damage control, Hal replied, frowning. Oh, sorry. We are going to do damage control, Hal replied, frowning. That's my frown. With Mogo out of action, the Corps is down one of our major players. Some of our enemies might move to take advantage of that. And until Mogo goes green again, we won't be able to fabricate new rings for those we've lost, Kyle said grimly. And we've lost some good lanterns out there. Not just in our Corps either, John replied. The Blue Lanterns took heavy losses in the attack on Mogo. One of them I knew personally, Esperanza Cavalera. I heard, Hal said. The impact of that loss hit her sister Lucia pretty hard. Hard enough to override the Indigo Tribe ring she wore. And there's not much that can do that. Agreed, John said. Turned her into a grey lantern. Her and Mogo. Yeah, Hal replied. Grey lanterns can radiate a wave of grief and sorrow. It's contagious. Anyone hit by that wave can turn grey as well, especially anyone grieving a loss in their life. Every new grey boosts the signal, spreading sorrow wherever they go. So now there's a planet-sized grey lantern out there, Kyle added. Guys, if Mogo goes mobile, he could spread that grey wave to entire star systems, even entire space sectors. Right, we could be facing an intergalactic pandemic of sorts, John said grimly. Yeah, that's a pretty non-Euclidean situation, all right? I don't know what Euclidean is, or if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I have to look it up. Euclidean, relating to or denoting the system of geometry based on the work of Euclid and corresponding to the geometry of ordinary experience. So this would be extraordinary or not ordinary experiences occurring. Right. We could be facing an intergalactic pandemic of sorts, John said grimly. Yeah, that's a pretty non-Euclidean situation, all right. Carol has the most experience dealing with the Greys, Hal said. She's called in other Star Sapphires to work with her and the Guardians on ways to deal with the Grey wave while we still have options. Any good news for us, Hal? I think we could all use some, said John. We've got the ringleader of the attacks on Mogo locked in a science cell, Hal said. Unfortunately, Amon Sir isn't talking. We're still not sure what his goals were. But we stopped him, Carl said, at a great cost. Unless, of course, their goal was to create a Grey Lantern. Right? I don't know. Maybe they actually succeeded. Who knows? Kilowog's leading a squad of lanterns on Mogo, rounding up any stray yellow lanterns and Cordians that are still planet-side, Hal added. And we've got some of our best tracking down Lyssa Drake out in deep space. She'll answer for her crimes, including murder. That'll be cold comfort to those who knew Esperanza, John said, and her family. Agreed. Very cold comfort. Maybe bringing Lyssa to justice will help her sister find some closure, Kyle said. Enough to lift the grey shadow on her heart. Here's hoping, John said. Sector 2494, within the Brinarchy Nebula? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. No more running, Drac, Guy Gardner snarled. Is that a snarl? I don't know. If I were you, I'd surrender. But I won't cry if you decide to put up a fight. Not helping, Guy, said Aracia Rab to her fellow Green Lantern. But he's right, Lissa. There's nowhere left for you to run to. It's over. Oh, well, in that case, I give up, Lissa Drac replied, a sneer on her lips as she raised her hands in surrender. Huh? Guy said, slightly puzzled. Just like that. No monologue? No threats? No yellow spikes and chains or quotes from the Book of Parallax? Nope, Lissa said. How do you Earthers put it? I want my phone call. Yeah, that's it. Aracia shrugged and generated a set of handcuffs and manacles with her power ring. This might be a first, she said as she placed the bindings onto Lissa. Sinestro Corps members usually put up more of a fight. Yeah, Guy replied. A lot more like, to the last I grapple with thee more. Something's fishy here. You got me, cowboy, Lissa said. A moment later, her body began to twist and contort, transforming before the surprised eyes of the two Green Lanterns. After a moment, an orange humanoid in the uniform of the Sinestro Corps floated in space before them. A Durlan, Aracia said dryly. Who hired you to impersonate Drac, shapeshifter? Got nothing to say to you, sweetheart, the Durlan replied. Take me to my science cell. We've been had, Guy said to Aracia as he encased the Durlan within a green energy bubble. This punk led us on a wild goose chase, and Drac's still at large. And up to no good, I'm sure, Aracia said. Oh, hun, you have no idea, the Durlan said, chuckling. That I'll give you for free. Shut it, Durlan, Guy said. Call our little blue bosses, Aracia. The Guardians are going to want to know about this. Right, Aracia said, frowning at the Durlan's words. Hope we're not too late. Sector 2261, Planet Mogo. It is as I foretold, Lissa Drake muttered as she emerged from the shadows beneath a dark grey sky. The ruse was successful and our enemies are in disarray. You have served us well, child of night. Release us and you shall have your dark reward. Soon, Lissa replied to the ominous voice within her mind. Your jailer has been weakened, where I am stronger than I have ever been. I shall deliver you from Durant's vial, my master. She paused at the entrance to a foreboding cave, smiling, a hint of madness in her eye. I don't know that I can imitate madness. Have I got it? Is it working? I don't know! She paused at the entrance to a foreboding cave, smiling, a hint of madness in her eyes. Your victory is nigh, she said. No one will stand before your terrible might. And with that, she walked into the dark cavern, her maniacal laughter echoing within its shadowy depths. Mwahaha! That's the best laugh I have for villains, I don't know. All right, well, that is all of it. Once again, they are giving us information that I feel should be in the game and not something we have to read elsewhere, even if it's just the text in the game to read in like that welcome message or something like that, rather than something we have to look up elsewhere. I would much prefer that. I will say I did know that Mogo was obviously a Grey Lantern because it's said by Carol at the end of the last part of the storyline, the solo though. So I did know that was happening. I also suspected, because of what Lissa said inside the episode, that it was an intentional thing to have Mogo become a Grey Lantern and that they were using Lucia to do that. This seems to make it more likely that that's the case, but I mean, I could be mistaken for sure. But I do think the fact that there is manipulation and deception going on where Lissa is concerned is fun and interesting. It also seems like she is being specifically manipulated by a particular someone. So my prediction or my guess is that she's being manipulated into causing Moko to become a Sorrow Lantern, potentially causing a lot of people to experience sorrow and become Grey Lanterns, making their enemies a little bit more null and not really something of a threat. I do wonder what's happening here with Sinestro and Carousel. I'm curious if at some point we're going to have a team up between the Yellow Lanterns and the Green Lanterns and the Blue Lanterns, all together attempting to remedy the situation that Lisa seems to be involved in, as does Amon Sur. But I don't know. I don't know. I will say I find the storyline interesting. I find it frustrating that it is in blogs online rather than in the game. But other than Lucia being an exceedingly unlikable character for me, I don't like that character very much. I liked Esperanza. She was lovely. And I found Voivode mildly entertaining. I think if they didn't bleep out her swears and they actually had her speak normally, some of the comedic part of that would have been taken away, and I would have probably liked her character a little bit more. I feel like the bleeping kind of interrupted her thought, and it was hard to care because it seemed funny. But yeah, Lucia, out of all the characters they've created for these episodes or this story arc, Reckoning or Lucia is my least favorite. And I don't like that we're following her storyline. But if we don't think about that, I think the storyline's interesting. I'm curious to see what we're going to do to Kuamogo. I am hoping that we get another map, because even though it would make a lot of sense for them to use the current map they have and just color it all gray, which I would understand, and if that is what happens for the next episode, I won't be upset, because it does make sense. But these developers make absolutely beautiful maps, at least with the two they've shown us thus far. I love them. And if they make another one for the next episode, I'll be really happy. I'm sorry, chapter. I'm going to say episode. It's too complicated to try to remember chapters and episodes and story arcs and all of that. So if they do create a new map for the next episode, I will be really happy, because one thing these developers do very well is a beautiful open world. And I really hope that that is going to be in the next episode, even though there is potential here with where the story is going that we will again be on Mogo, and it could potentially just be the same environment turned grey. It would make sense. I would be sad to see that environment turned grey, because it's so pretty right now and I really love it. But I would understand. I'm curious to see exactly what the plan is with regard to Lucia, because it seems like if she interacts with anybody else, they're going to be infected with Grey Lanternism. I don't know what else to call it. And we definitely don't want that happening. And same goes for Mogo. So maybe Lucia stays on Mogo for the meantime, or maybe they try to remove her so that Mogo is able to be restored to a Green Lantern. I don't know. But one thing I do think is happening, it does seem to be intentional that Lucia became a Grey Lantern and that Mogo became a Grey Lantern. Seems like that was planned, and that's what the bad dudes wanted to have happen. Because at this stage, Mogo is kind of incapacitated, right? So, I mean, it's interesting. But with that all being said, I am curious what you guys think. Please do let me know in the comments below if you would like to. I'm curious, and especially from people who know more about the lanterns than I do. And also, I hope you all have a good one.